Welcome back. You're watching News Hour, and we are just about to wrap up this conversation in about 20 minutes or so. I'm joined by the Senator of Migori County, of course, Eddie Okech. I'm also here with Member of Parliament for Dagoretti North, Beatrice Elachi, and Member of Parliament for Embakasi North, James Gakuya. Digging deep into matters politics, and do not worry, we will also seek and indulge them in matters IEBC, 61 billion shillings thereabout for the polls 2027, what the analysts are terming a polls shocker. But before we get into that, let's look at the latest remarks by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua on Raila's return.
I also want to tell Raila Odinga and his supporters, I know I am not qualified to advise him, but from my working with President William Ruto, myself and my community, let them be very careful. I have heard them promise him to be Prime Minister. That is a lie, it's conmanship. There is no such position available in this country because it's not there in the Constitution. For you to create the position of Prime Minister, it means you have to change the structure of government. You would have to go for a referendum.
Yes.
Today, if there is a referendum, it will be a referendum against the leadership of President William Ruto. And you will lose in the morning. So that position of Prime Minister is not available.
So who's playing who?
No, William Ruto is playing Raila Odinga. Let me tell you. There is no such position. So it's just a con. Number two, I think, to be fair to Raila Odinga, I think he has risen above that position of Prime Minister. The man has wanted to be president 5 times. He now wanted to be the chairman of the African Union Commission. I think taking him back to the position of Prime Minister is a bit demeaning. In my view, the former Prime Minister has 2 options, in my view. I cannot advise him. I cannot pretend I have the capacity to advise him. He either retires in dignity or he goes for the presidency. Because there is no way you can ask for the presidency for 5 times and then you demean yourself, you want to become a Prime Minister. No. I think that will be very, very demeaning.
Let me hear the voice of Beatrice Elachi on this matter. Dignified retirement, according to Gachagua, would be an option for Raila Odinga.
Well, you see, one, in terms of politics, you never tell any politician to retire. And it's very difficult, by the way. It is a very internal, and it depends on how it happens. To a prime minister, he is a prime minister, he has been a prime minister, there has never been another, so he's a prime minister. So it's not about the structures, it's just the name, the way everyone accolades him and gives him the name, because he's been the prime minister and we have not had another since him. Not from the history, but since him. And then also, in politics, it's very interesting. You see you see now what His Excellency, the Prime Minister has done. He broke all the yokes of how people were thinking. When he comes, he will use his people, they will come, we shall make town go into a disarray, break things, do everything, do drama. He closed the drama. Then they were expecting, when he arrives, then he will start. Baba has closed that. So everyone has wondered, this is not what we were expecting. So now, do we go back to the tables? We need to draw now another strategy because this one has not worked. But this is what I'll say. Baba has also, the same way our former Deputy President is saying, yes, it's true. He has also seen in those 5 elections where he has stood and said, I would wish to do this. I would wish to see this Kenya. I would wish to have this. Everyone told him, no. We come to tell him when things are hot is when we expect him now to come. Let Baba now come and help us on this. But this time round, he said, I want to go to AUC. And so he has come back as his statesman.
All right.
He has walked into the party and said, I had left the party in interim. I am now taking it back. I want to strengthen it. And he will say where he's headed.
Okay.
But everyone wants to see he's headed to this and this. He has decided, no, the country comes first. And so for me, if you ask me and ask me 100 times, I will tell His Excellency, the Prime Minister, for just give the country, show them you've always made the country breathe air. That is air of growth. When you touched with Kibaki, you made air of growth. When you came under Uhuru, after he had gone, the moment you just went behind him and kept quiet, but you guide him the way we had an air of breath where we see growth.
Okay.
And it's a gift God has given him that no any other leader has. Because when he was outside, nobody brought that air. Nobody called even a meeting, a big meeting of people. No. Now they want Baba to come back and now start holding them and holding those big meetings for them. Start. Find Baba ahead. He's ahead. He's thinking Kenya. He's thinking what is best for the young people. He knows there is a challenge and we must think through that challenge.
Your thoughts?
On this, I don't want to do too much on it.
Okay. Even though...
Raila is a statesman, and he has a long history on how he survived in his political trials. And he's a man that I would say is a man of different colors. He has not allowed himself to stay in the cold, and he has survived well politically. And number one, he enjoys a very wide support. And I wish that I could get that grip of support because it is a support for free. And the current, there is no way that we expect that Bamba will walk out from the government right now. Already Bamba has 4 ministers in the government. Tomorrow or Tuesday, he will be having a chunk of team, number of control of the chairmanship in the floor of the House. Senate, he has some, or that we are moving to National Assembly. I'm sure Baba in the awaiting part of the PS, he will be a very big gainer on that. And still he will also benefit through other state appointments, including ambassadorials. And this is Baba. Okay. What is important is peace in this country. I don't think that we need too much, because even though you have a lot to eat and there is no peace, then it is of no value. But when we have peace as a nation, I think that best way. And when Baba gives Kenya peace, because it's only Baba who sometimes destroys peace through his demonstrations.
Oh, so he gives peace, and on the other hand, he can destroy peace.
He's cool, we are also cool.
Interesting. Even though you're talking about peace, let me just engage you, gentlemen and lady, on this IEBC affair, because I believe it's very important that you touch on it as members of the parliament. 61 billion shillings, IEBC polls shock up. The budget is 19 billion shillings more than the amount splashed in the 2022 general election by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and comes at a time when the country's healthcare system is in a mess. Vividly, we can see the capitation to public schools has not been disbursed, and the university funding model is in disarray. But 2-3 years shy to the next general election, it keeps going higher and higher. But this time, Senator Okech, 61 billion shillings is what the IEBC says would give us a credible election comes 2027. It's still at the committee stage. In fact, the IEBC CEO wasn't present to defend this budget, I believe, before the committee. But what are your thoughts, even before I break down this entire, activities that are needed to be done with this amount of money?
Thanks, Anki, once again. IEBC is problematic.
Problematic, you say?
Yes, and I don't know how we can be able to correct it because it's an independent institution that was put there to ensure that we've got credible and verifiable elections. And that money, if you think about it, is money that's going to be spent basically to produce one credible vote. Okay? And you can just any voter who's going to a polling station to vote, their vote must be credible, protected to the best of the ability of the IEBC. But IEBC has just refused to change, right? Because if you think about it,
IEBC has refused to change.
Yes.
We have had the Electoral Boundaries Commission before Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission. Very many, of course, Wafula Chebukati the late served full term. The entire IEBC has been problematic since.
The entire IEBC. Of course, the Electoral Commission that used to be there under Kivuitu.
Yes.
Maybe, some of the characters who were within or without the previous Electoral Commission have just borrowed bad manners from the previous commission. But IEBC was one of the institutions that were found under Article 244 to be able to be an independent institution that could be credible, that could be out of interference. But they have just proven not to be, because if you think about 61 billion and currently just working with about a voter population of about 22 million, you're basically going to invest about 3,000 per voter if you're to do that math, right? And you're going to spend that 3,000 to be able to make sure that that voter casts their vote, comes in place, and that voter is counted correctly. But then you would still see the kind of investment, if you look at the ticket items, on areas that are completely irrelevant, that are just putting the institution to proper doubt. So for instance, there, if you look at there's over 1 billion that is put on legal issues that IEBC is anticipating
legal
disputes
petitions
already.
And reforms.
Yeah, and reforms. If you look at the tallying centers that are in that list that they put before Parliament, tallying center is where everything happens. IEBC chooses to tell us they're going to spend about 203 million only, compared to spending over billions of money on legal issues and disputes that they actually anticipate. So think about it. I have vied in this country, and if you ask any politician who has vied here, for them alone to protect their vote, they end up using 10,000 on a voter. Because you have to have your agent, you have to put people to protect your vote, yet IEBC spends the kind of money. I think that it's high time that we as legislators come with serious electoral reforms that can make IEBC be able to work for the people and take advantage of already existing infrastructure. For instance, your ID. Anki, when you turn 18 in this country, you are given ID.
Correct.
Why do you still go to get an elector's card is budgeted for there? Why can't you just get your ID and elector's card at the same time and use your ID as an elector's card? So there's a lot of problems with the budget that they are proposing that I think that will not perhaps give us credible election, but be it as it may, let us just make sure that the people who are going to be given to us as commission are men and women of great valor and credibility that can be able to deliver an election that is free and fair.
All right, let me hear from Elachi at this point, because at this point in time we're expecting that the registration of voters would not stop at any point. We do understand civic education is very, very important, among other things. Do you think this particular budget is justified for IEBC 2027 to conduct elections then?
Well, you see now when they tell us 64 billion, then you come and say you will be in court, then it is wrong. I wish you told us you are going to spend 64 billion, never to step in the court.
Yeah.
That you will do a credible election. And to do this credible election, I think even in that NADUCO report, they agreed that after you finish, you've counted, you've tallied from the stream to wherever it is supposed to go, whether it's the presidential results, it goes straight from the stream. It means by 11, 12 midnight, if you are getting everything from the stream and it is counting, do you know by 3 a.m. in the morning, you know the president? You don't even need to wait for the next day. So why are you anticipating to be in court? Because it's only the presidential case, and many of these other cases, you find the honorable member who is in court with the other are the ones who are going to pay for their cases.
But what about corruption prevention protection?
What is corruption prevention protection? In the 64 billion, they also want to have money to protect that.
Yeah,
they have
Politicians
decided
are said to interfere with this particular. Maybe this is for.
No, but you see now,
Yes.
and the Secretariat, I am begging they forgive me because this is my opinion. For me, you want to have a beginning of a new electoral team.
Okay.
I'm not saying sack, no. I am saying these are officers of government. You can take them
to other places.
Yeah. And you don't need to recruit. Bring other people from somewhere, put them in. Let us now also have, the way we overhaul commissioners, can we also now overhaul this other side and just bring legal team? You need people who understand to do civic education. They are there in the judiciary, in the state offices that we have. They will do this work. So, because it's not cast, but what we are saying, even the phones for the first time can do this thing. Within this, as long as you have the right application that does not bring a lot of issues, you will have it. We are saying, you see, even when we stand and we say, this one rigged, then you ask yourself, in the first place before you even entered, you went through a bio to identify yourself. So what brings all this mistrust is just one thing. You have had a register for 10 years. For heaven's sake, let us have a new register.
Okay.
Let us have a new register that says, this is new. Everyone here is alive and kicking and they are about to go. Yes, we shall have deaths even to the day of the election. But let us, if we want, and I still don't understand, I don't want to talk 64 billion. No, let me not go that route. But then all I am saying, there's nothing like cleaning the register. No. Let's just start a new slate.
All right.
Last time we had 57 polling centers plus, or 54,000 polling centers. That is 285 people walking in there to register. Right. If you are serious about registration of new voters and bringing in the young people who want to come and vote. So let's have, first of all, not talk about even the monies. Because you can have the money, and that is why we don't do the right thing. Because we look at the money. How can we look in ourselves and do an election like India, where you're talking of one big people, and they have, when you look at the team that is doing this election, why can't we then benchmark there and decide that is how we will do our election?
Even though India has one of the most expensive elections as well.
Yeah, but you see, you're talking of 1 billion people.
All right.
And at the same time, you'll never hear them spending money now and making every institution go haywire. But there is no need of us spending 64 billion, and then the next day we shall be on the roads, in the courts, in hot air, in loose goose, in
hot air. Okay.
No,
allow me to hear from James Gakwe in that regard, because so far you're talking about a new register, but Mr. Kitani, the Deputy Executive, Chief Executive Officer, just said that the Commission intends to retain the already existing poll register. Let me hear from James. We're running out of time, unfortunately. Just give your comments on the IEBC matter.
Thank you, Anki. And very quickly, I would like to say that I am sure the reason why the IEBC is putting figures for preparation for election is because we are at the stages of budget making. And in budget, you must give figures. But you are very sure, if you request this money, this amount, most likely you get half of it. So in their mind, putting that particular figure is that in case the budget, at the tail end of the budget cycle, probably their budget will be stretched to halfway. And then if you can get half, then they can be able to survive with that budget. That's it. Because if you put your budget at exactly what you want, then you get half of it. It means you'll be crippled.
Okay.
So they are wise in that, and they know how that cycle works. Number two is that as much as there is urge to have a new register, I still think that in fact this is the high time if our resources will allow, because everything is budget, and also forcing everybody else to go to register, it means you must have extraordinary materials for that particular exercise, and therefore that budget should be also considered for. And finally, the proposal made by Honorable Elachi, it is true, you don't require to have a CEO who will be in an election cycle for more than 3 cycles of an election.
As we wrap up.
Yes, therefore you need to at least do some changes and transfer these people to another, to reserve them to within the government and bring new faces there, so that at least things can move. Because once even a police, when you overstay somewhere, even a DO, then things started going the wrong way. Yes, so we need to at least do something at this particular time.
I think as the budget for Kimskit is about 1 billion. Right? I read it in Parliament, and if I'm right, I don't know whether you can confirm that. But the Kimskit is the fundamental technology that we depend on in terms of voter identification and allowing voter to be able to register. And then out of 61 billion, you want to spend 1 billion on systems that ordinarily used to fail, ordinarily used not to have networks. I think that there is a serious impact assessment that IEBC must do before they come with this strategic plan and doing this budgeting. Otherwise, as a legislature, I take it as a joke. And lack of seriousness, because if there is no proper impact assessment that indicates where there used to be problems, including because they have run elections, almost I think 3 elections now. There is a number of learnings that we have had in those elections that the budget must respond to where did those elections fail. And Kimskit were one of those places that verification was done at the polling stations, and they were not tallying with the National Tallying Center. The tallying centers were not well manned. The results that were in the tallying centers were not the same as the other side. And even if you look at the procurement, they're spending about 200 million in the procurement processes. And that is where the ballot papers are going to be printed, where we even add double balloting, where you had a form A and B that looked the same. So all those problems need to be pegged on an impact assessment of the last 3 elections, what are actually failed in IEBC, and how is that informing the strategic plan, and how is that informing the budget. Now, lastly, I think this is my last one, right?
Yes.
So lastly, on the issue of Rigathi Gachagua, I wanted to comment and say that I listened to Rigathi Gachagua trying to lecture the Right Honorable Raila Molo Odinga on what he should do next. I think Rigathi Gachagua has got 2 characters. One is a serious joker, number 2 is a serious comedian. Because Rigathi Gachagua has got any moral authority to be able to lecture Raila Odinga on what Raila Odinga should do.
So he will not even give his opinion.
Where him as a joker, he failed to be able to depict what the relationship with Ruto will look like, and led his entire community in a dream that he wasn't sure about in the first place. Number 2, he was the first person to talk about things like, share capital in government, to an extent that he alienated the entire communities of other regions, and now is alienating his own community from government, when his community has got more ministers and more public servants in government today than ever. So Rigathi should not be taken serious by anybody. He can be taken serious by anybody who has got time to listen online to some comic statement that he has, and he can become an entertainer who can give a job at Churchill Live, but not commenting on serious political discourse in our country today.
Thank you very much, Senator Eddie Okech, for your closing remarks. Let's hear the closing remarks by Beatrice Elachi.
For me, 3 things. You see, one of the things that we must agree as a country, after coming from AUC, is that indeed we need each other. A comment that I did early in January that was taken very out of context, but I was right. And it has come, and I want to thank God it has proved we have no friends. Our friend is this Kenya. And this Kenya, the way we are handling it and the way we are just joking with it, today this one says this, tomorrow this one says, but you're not giving a solution. People just come and say, oh, there's no solution. We are finishing this Kenya, starting from our own airport. I said the other day, I walked in, the tent that was there when has been there now 10 years and nobody talks about it. Just dust. You see, when you enter somewhere and you ask yourself, you are living here, with this dust, then there's a problem. That's the problem we have.
All right.
The dust we have in our country, we need to broom it. And so if Baba will broom it,
Okay.
and make post-COVID recovery be better than what we are seeing, the better.
All right.
And so whether we call him Prime Minister, whether we go, you think you go to a referendum? Yes, we shall go to a referendum. We can go, and don't think it will be the day, that is the day you'll see how Kenya votes. And it normally votes very different than the way we are thinking. Very different.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so
and
much.
And so it does not matter even a referendum.
All right.
If it is
if that's the way to go, then
yeah,
you will go that direction.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
then we will tell them, I don't think, the way Baba told us at AUC and told those presidents, I did not come here to make AU to have 6 months no chairman. No. It's the same way he will tell us here. We are not going to spend money wrongly. We need to think for the country.
Even as let me just cut you short on that because of time. But I'm also told I can give you 30 seconds. Kenyans are saying, that's how you know I've cut Elachi short. Eh? Yeah.
I think what I can say is that, in fact, everybody is somebody.
In just 20 seconds.
And we don't have to demean anybody.
All right.
All politicians are equal. And I would say that very authoritatively that if Baba could have pursued and his dream was went his way, then Kenya should also remain. It would have also remained.
Okay.
It does not mean that we were waiting Baba to come back to collect us.
Okay.
Because he has already gone and decided to go. So it's just unfortunate that he didn't achieve his goal. He's back.
All right.
And he's our father, and we welcome him at any point. And lastly, let me also say,
very
as Gachagua is a Kenyan citizen, he has equal right, equal opinion like anybody else. So nobody should demean him. And if you feel that Gachagua does not fit you, he fits somewhere else.
All right. I think I should have this panel again very soon for a longer time. This was way short. To just comment on the things that are happening in the country, bits of it, but there are more intense things to look at, and they will be developing over time. Beatrice Elachi, the Greater North Member of Parliament, right at the center. Thank you for creating time. Eddie Okech, Senator Migori County, thank you for creating time. And James Gakuya, Member of Parliament, Embakasi North, for creating time. Keep engaging with us at KT News KE, at Doris Anke is my handle. But also do not forget to grab a copy of the Bold newspaper. We bring you up to speed and we set the standard for the nation. Have a good night. Marisha Owiti has been on sign language. My name is Anki Doris Umbat. Stay woke.